It's finally here, draft day. Welcome into Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we will go over the final Seahawks news and rumors that you need to know before the first round of the NFL draft tonight. We will talk about Jalen Carter, also C.J. Stroud, and go over the final mock drafts from the experts, Mel Kiper Jr., Todd, McShay, and Daniel Jeremiah. We'll go over all of that and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, tonight we are going live on the channel for the first round of the draft, and I want to get to 37,000 subscribers for our guy, Sean Alexander. 37 for 37, right? We are 439 subscribers away from doing so. Let's do it tonight. Let's party. Let's have a good time. We're going to get started about 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, about an hour before the draft starts. And we'll count you down with everything you need to know leading up to the draft. And then once the draft starts, we're going to hang out, have a good time, give you instant analysis, reaction, and just party with the 12. So join us tonight. You will not want to miss it. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV for our live Seahawks Today draft party coming up this evening, beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. You will not want to miss it. Jalen Carter at 5. A new report is out that the Seahawks love Jalen Carter. And according to their draft boards, they likely prefer him over a quarterback, including the likes of Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, and others. And what I find fascinating, before I get you the official report of what Matt Lombardo had to say here, is we told you earlier in the week that Todd McShay of ESPN was reporting that the Seahawks had kind of moved on from Jalen Carter of sorts, that they preferred Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson if they were going to go defense, and we're also looking at their quarterback options of C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson, that all four of those guys they preferred over Jalen Carter. That was the report from Todd McShay a couple days ago. But now we're hearing from Matt Lombardo that it's a much different tune than what McShay was saying. Here's what Lombardo tweeted out just a little while ago. Who knows what actually happens Thursday night? But one takeaway from multiple conversations I've had is the Seahawks love Jalen Carter. Very conceivable they have him higher on their board than any of the quarterbacks. Now, as I've said before, and I will continue to reiterate, if the Seahawks are comfortable with the question marks that Jalen Carter possesses of the misdemeanor charge that he had back in January, not looking great in his pro day, if they can overlook those things, and if they don't see that as a big issue or something that he can overcome, then this is an easy call. Then this is the right choice to go Jalen Carter at 5. Will Anderson likely won't be there anyway. At that point, you have the best defensive player in this draft right there, assuming Will Anderson's gone, available to you, and better than any offensive player in this draft, including the quarterbacks. That's the right decision. Don't overthink this. But if they can't overlook those things, if the more they know, the more they read into this and say, you know what, Jalen's not our guy, then you look at your other options. But if they feel comfortable, this is the right decision, and Seattle needs to make it. Simple as that. Who will the Seahawks draft at number 5 overall? In my final mock draft yesterday that we gave you, I still have Seattle going with Jalen Carter here despite the noise from Todd McShay and others. You see this report from Matt Lombardo. It makes sense, right? This is the smart decision for Seattle here to go with Jalen Carter. I'm all in. Let me know. This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it while the ad's playing. Tell me who you think the Seahawks should draft at number 5 overall. The NFL Draft is live on Chat Sports for all 3 days, beginning tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We'll be breaking down every single pick as it happens in real time, giving you instant analysis and reaction, and I'll be there as well as some of your favorite Chat Sports people as well. Going to be a great time beginning tonight, all 3 rounds. Live on Chat Sports. You will not want to miss a moment of it. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us for our live draft coverage on our main Chat Sports channel beginning tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. So let's go over the final mock drafts. I gave you mine yesterday, but I want to show you what the experts, Mel Kiper Jr., Todd McShay, Daniel Jeremiah, what those guys have for their final predictions of what Seattle will do with their picks at 5 and 20. Now, before we show you these picks, I thought there was one important detail with all three of these experts that was fascinating. In all three of their mock drafts, none of them had Seattle trading one of their picks at 5 and 20. We've talked a lot about over the last several weeks the possibility of Seattle trading 5 or 20, in particular that number 20 pick. But Kiper, McShay, and Jeremiah all have Seattle staying put with both selections. So with that, let's go one by one with what each expert had to say. Mel Kiper is predicting that Seattle will go Jalen Carter at number 5, and at 20 that they'll go Myles Murphy. Remember, Mel Kiper was one of the loudest people early on about Seattle drafting a quarterback. At one point he had Anthony Richardson at 5. Another point he had Hendon Hooker going to Seattle with the second pick, but he settled on the Seahawks going with defensive players with their 2 first-round picks. Todd McShay, who we told you earlier has been very adamant the last couple days that the Seahawks are out on Jalen Carter. According to his reporting, he's saying that Anthony Richardson will fall to Seattle at 5 with that selection, and then they'll go receiver at 20 with Zay Flowers out of Boston College with the pick. And Zay Flowers is getting a lot of love as of late. Seems like that most people have him as the number 2 receiver in this draft behind Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then there's Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network, and DJ goes with Jalen Carter at 5 for Seattle, and then at 20 has them going quarterback with Anthony Richardson with the selection there. So you can see, to kind of recap things, we got 2 experts saying Jalen Carter. We got 2 experts saying Anthony Richardson. And it'd be quite the slide if Anthony Richardson falls all the way to 20 like DJ's projecting. And then Myles Murphy and Zay Flowers in the mix. And then personally me, I have Jalen Carter at 5 and Lucas Van Ness going to the Seahawks with the 20th pick. So those are the predictions. I'll say this, one more thing as we're kind of wrapping up things. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle takes a quarterback tonight, although I'm not projecting it, wouldn't surprise me. And I wouldn't rule out C.J. Stroud either, because we've heard the noise about the Texans kind of souring on C.J. Stroud, right? And so that might open up the possibility of him sliding down potentially to that number 5 spot where Seattle's at. And C.J. Stroud, speaking to the media at the draft in Kansas City, had this to say yesterday. C.J. Stroud told Heavy on Sports that he knocked it out of the park when meeting with the Seahawks. They like the way I can process through plays in my IQ. They taught me 3 plays and some protections, and I knocked it out of the park. And then there's more from C.J. Stroud. Sounds like that he likes Seattle. He might want to be a Seahawk based on what he had to say about the organization and his meetings here. I was a big Seahawks fan growing up. I love the Legion of Boom. Richard Sherman is from L.A., so that was somebody I really looked up to. Just liked the style of play. Love Russell Wilson. Pete had some amazing things to say, had a great meeting with him. It went amazing, man. They're a really good organization, and they're going to continue to do great things. Now, C.J. Stroud may want to be a Seahawk, but as the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, he might not be available when the Seahawks pick at 5. So if they really want C.J. Stroud, they might have to trade up. But if he's there at 5, it's pretty interesting hearing C.J. Stroud say those kind things about Seattle and possibly wanting to be a Seahawk there if he's around at 5. I would not rule out that possibility. So we'll see. Will the Seahawks draft a QB in the first round tonight? Will we see them make a move for Stroud or Richardson or one of those guys at 5? Could it be Hendon Hooker at 20 or one of the other quarterbacks up there? What say you? Will we see Seattle go with a quarterback in round number 1 tonight? Could they trade down and still get a quarterback before the end of the first round? What do you think? What does the Seahawks do when it comes to the quarterback position? Do they get one tonight? Let me know in the comment section. Y for yes, in for no. Hit me up on social media talking about your Seahawks there all night and throughout the weekend. And got my full mock draft posted on my Instagram feed as well. Check that out there at Tyler Jones Live. And I will see you later on tonight. Join us. Our Seahawks Today draft party beginning tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you then.